Hi everyone. It's a quick take of Turkey talk. Once again, our issue is the peace process, or rather, I think we should call it the disarmament process of the PKK, as the government calls it. And it's turning into a pub brawl, actually. Usually, or ideally, the peace processes should be times when you add new friends to your friends. You don't make enemies out of your friends. But that is not the case, as everything turns into a big public item in Turkey's agenda, a negative item, of course, unfortunately. Well, last week it was the main opposition, CHP, uh, opting out of sending a representative, parliamentarian representative to the İmralı Island, where the PKK leader Abdullah Öcalan is imprisoned. Since, well, the beginning of 2000s, you might say, so 26 years to be exact. Well, CHP opted out of this, and there were huge spats with them, pro-Kurdish party, pro-Kurdish party Dems, uh, general, the elite, let's say, the opinion makers, social influencers, and the politicians themselves were criticizing CHP heavily, although they, although CHP was the only one advocating them when there was even the question of banning them altogether. In any case, well, you have to make friends, but you make enemies out of your friends. This is the peace process in Turkey, so it should be normal. In any case, now there was the new crisis developing over Mesut Barzani's visit to Turkey. I made a mention of it in the previous Turkey talk. He was here as one of the main figures of all the Kurds as a leader. Uh, he's the leader of KDP, the party ruling the Iraqi Kurdistan, and he was also the regional leader of the Iraqi Kurds. Uh, Although he's now in this active role, uh, his family is, and in any case, he's one of these leader figures. So he's here, invited by the Interior Ministry, apparently, though we don't know, and also the more conservative Kurdish figures of the ruling Justice and Development Party, AK Party. Nevertheless, he comes to this conference of Melai Ciziri, who's a historical figure, historically important figure, sort of Kurdish Leonardo da Vinci, a pious religious figure on the one hand, and on the other hand, he's also an innovative figure in astronomics, mathematics. So he's a sort of national pride for the Kurds in general. Barzani was in Turkey for this visit, for participating in this conference. The conference that's happening for the fourth time. It's not the novelty. And it's happening in the southeasternmost town of Cizre. Barzani arrives here with his elite corps, Peshmerge, the elite forces. Imagine U.S. Marines accompanying, for example, an American leader. to a visit abroad. They're heavily armed. Well, it's all unusual, but all this have had to be coordinated beforehand. The organizers, somehow it's not. I think it was a good PR stunt for. It was a big good PR move for Barzani because the elite corps were received with public happiness, the Kurdish public in Cizre, in the town. Nevertheless, there's also the other side of Turkey, the nationalist, more national side, more Turkish side, let's say, and they weren't so happy. So it was a public item. But then again, also the presidential circles criticized it, the presidential advisors, etc. And the Interior Ministry started an investigation process. But then, again, the most important part of the saga was the supreme figure, the other supreme figure, leader of the presidential alliance ruling Turkey, MHP's leader Bahçeli. During he issued this interview that was disseminated in 3 consecutive days in the national paper, of course, the national paper of MHP, the party paper, let's say, better way to put it, Türk Gün. So the party paper prints this interview for 3 consecutive days, and on the second day was part on the second day, I guess, or was it the first? Anyway, there's this part about Barzani and that how he was unhappy about the elite corps accompanying him, the Peshmerga accompanying him, how inappropriate it was. So Bahçeli was criticizing him, but Bahçeli criticized him in very heavy terms. I think it was sort of a not a horribly harsh criticism of Bahçeli. We are used to far worse. So in any case, Barzani's office replied back, and in this answer, it was they were branding MHP as this wolf in sheep's clothing. Of course, an analogy to MHP's symbol, the wolf, gray wolf. So then, what happens? Foreign Ministry intervenes and makes a statement, overnight statement, saying that Barzani's office, in a kind of denigrating way, made the statement, and it's not. We're criticizing this type of statement back from the Turkish Foreign Ministry. And finally, today, not Barzani's office, but the Iraqi Kurdish regional administration made a reply, official reply from the highest level you can imagine, highest official level, and they said that they didn't really apologize, although it was broadcast as such. Like the statement went like there was this inappropriate misunderstandings and misgivings type of thing. Yeah, so it wasn't really an apology at all. And should there have been an apology? Because as I mentioned, it should have been coordinated beforehand. Why should Barzani be apologizing now? Well, it's in any case, it was broadcast as an apology in the Turkish media, so all is supposed to be just diminishing all the saga. But at the end of the day, I think this is one of the indicators how Turkish public in general, never mind the Turkish public, they're not a party to the conversation at all. There's nobody I think the public opinion is just the government is pretending as if it doesn't matter. So no, the political elites in general, except for the main opposition, CHP, pretends as if it doesn't matter really, whatever the public thinks. In any case, I think we're just in this peace process also, disarmament process. Everyone is just talking past each other, and they don't really understand each other. It was just one of those indicators. Uh, Normally, Barzani family, Mr. Barzani himself has really good relations with Turkey, with Ankara. And if this is happening at this time in the peace process, there's something off. This is my hunch. Anyway, we'll be talking more about this.